Hello, hello. Welcome to Let's Talk About with POGCat, the podcast where two friends talk about what's been happening on the internet. Kind of. We're on the internet. Anyways, we're both unsure about where this will go, so we're going to talk about it. And yeah, welcome.
Halloween's over. It's Christmas the 12th.
Oh, actually, I do have a question before we get started into like our main topics, but like are you the type of person that cares whether or not how early Christmas decoration goes up or how early Christmas music gets played?
Christmas decoration should go up November 1st. Get your mileage out of it.
You think so? Like, I don't know. I can kind of see the need for it to wait until after Thanksgiving because they're very different colors schemes in my mind.
If you're going to put up Thanksgiving decorations, and I guess you put up Thanksgiving decorations November 1st and then take them down after Thanksgiving, and then it becomes Christmas decorations for a month.
Right?
Just so you after you put in all the effort of setting it up, you just leave it on until I guess it's about time to take them down.
Yeah, I don't know. I think about like, because like I think I had this conversation with a couple of friends like, oh, I'm sad that Halloween's already over. It's such a short holiday where we only got to keep things up for a couple of weeks, and I'm like, no one's stopping you from celebrating Christmas, celebrating Halloween all year round. It can be Halloween. I mean, maybe if you have a house and your HOA may not be a fan of that, but it's inside of your house. It could be whatever decorations you want, right?
Yeah, just leave whatever you want outside of the house, and then before you know it, it's October again. You don't have to set up anything.
I am that person. I think at my work desk, I used to decorate my work desk for the holidays, and people would make very specific comments if I've had my decoration out, like Christmas lights or anything, past after the new year. They're like, you still have it up? I'm like, what if I want to be festive, huh? Like, it's still dark. It's still daylight savings right now, like this brightens up my desk. Why not?
I'm the complete opposite. I have absolutely nothing on my desk.
You're one of those minimal
zero like individuality on the desk. It's just everything that they give us. All I brought was a keyboard and mouse. Everything else is
ever since my company had moved out of the office. I still have in my trunk 2 like packing boxes of shit that was at my desk, including my John Cena autograph and all this other decoration. I'm like, man, I had a lot of shit for someone who I actually didn't decorate that much, but I still have a bunch of stuff, and I'm like, what am I gonna do with all this? Actually, it's funny that you bring up like you not having anything on your desk, because earlier today I was actually looking up like how to decorate your desk minimally, and I'm like looking around my desk. I still have like all my 3 sets of keycaps from when I did my keycap project last weekend. I still have like a random container of Advil laying around. Like, I have so much crap on here that I'm like, oh, I'm overwhelmed and I'm like stressed out looking at it. So what is your secret to keeping things minimal? Because I've seen your setup. Your setup's it's very clean. I'm very like, how nice. Look at this wire management and everything.
I'm one of those people that's like, it looks clean, but if you open any of the drawers, everything's just thrown in there. It gives you the illusion that it's neat.
At least you had your desk space to open up your cards earlier last week, because when I was watching Prince open
everyone
up his...
else.
I was like,
everyone else.
You have so much stuff. Like, what was it? Like, Prince was making like stacks on stacks of like, at least when things got too tall, you moved it over. Like, watching his stack grow from his case was stressing me out. I'm like, please fix your stack, sir. It's gonna topple over. And the fact that he was trying to open it all before he went to work, I'm just like, ooh, crazy. Gotta go fast. I actually have
like having a place for everything, so I'm just gonna set things aside. Like, it might not be neat in the drawer or whatever, but I want to at least give the impression that everything is organized.
I tell myself, I think I'm like organized in different ways in different areas. So like, probably the area that's most organized are like my kitchen drawers, right? Because those are things where it's like, okay, I need to know where all my utensils are, where all my cooking stuff is. So those areas are relatively organized, even like how the plates and stuff are set up. But like, if you go anywhere else in my apartment, it is a hot mess. Like, I'm like looking at my desk right now, and there's a lot of things I rearranged, and I'm not like feeling quite happy with how things are. There's just a lot of like sewing supplies and cosplay stuff that I do have a cosplay sewing project that I'm working on for a friend later this month and also in December, but I cannot bring myself to like put things away entirely because I'm like, oh, what if I need it and I forget where I put it and all that shit. So I don't know, I'm struggling with the everything needs to have a place but also a purpose. Like I don't want just stuff collecting dust because it has a spot, you know. And since I'm getting a roommate sometime next year, I'm like, oh, I have to accommodate someone else's living situation. So that'll be interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, as long as you're fine with it. Like, if no one's coming over, you know where everything is, and you do you.
I guess it's one of those things where I go to other people's places. I'm like, dang, I could be this organized. And I come back home to my place and I'm like, damn, it's like that meme, like, damn, bitch, you live like this. I like react to my own mess every time.
Except it's like, damn, I live like this.
Yeah, it really is. I'm just like, oh God, there's so much shit everywhere. Like, and this is where I'm like, I think like when I compare your situation in terms of anime merch, I'm jealous. I'm like, at least it's contained, right? You have a lot. I don't even think you have that much compared to like other people, but like you have stuff, but it's all in a very specific area. Actually, I don't know where. What do you do about your extra cards? Oh wait, never mind. You have it for like balancing stuff, right?
You slip it in between your wobbly furniture. Yeah, that's good now.
I mean, it helps. Why not?
I find places to put it away. I mean, I also haven't been, unlike some of the other friends, I haven't been actively getting more merch.
What
like,
is?
I don't have those monthly Ami orders anymore.
Oh, wait. You know, I'll be honest. I'm pretty sure I have things out there in the abyss of the Ami world, but like during the pandemic, my friends, shout out to Stereometric, was kind enough to like combine orders to save on like shipping costs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I forget I order things, so like whatever, they message me like, hey, your thing came in. I'm like, what thing? I'm pretty sure I have like a Nendroid display set, like a little cute cafe setup that comes in like that delivers next month, and I do not. I'm like afraid because I'm like, oh, I remember telling myself last year like, oh, that's a future me's problem to pay for. But now that we're getting close to the holidays, and I remember there's like still like Christmas shopping to be done, I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna be poor.
just don't pay and then get banned from Ami.
It's not my account. That's the issue.
Oh.
No, I'll pay it. Don't worry, I'll pay it, friend. If you're listening, I'll pay it. Don't worry.
If you're listening, I'm good for it. Trust.
trust. But yeah, no, like I don't know. I think about, I've collected so much different merch that like sometimes I wonder like, man, is this like worth it? And then I think about my other friend, Chiha, where for her she's like, the regret of buying something is always less than the regret of you missing out on something and you can never get it again. And I'm like, no, why did you bring this into my life? Like,
classic FOMO.
Right? But like, there are some things where, especially like concert goods and stuff, like concerts I'm not even physically there for, but I'm like, oh, you know, what if I just want to have that memory because I watched on a live stream? K-pop concerts.
But if I want it later, I won't be able to get it.
Exactly, right? So like I'm like,
so dangerous,
dude. I will say, like, in your opinion, what is the most useless kind of merch? Like, absolutely like serves no purpose.
Like plushies and figures.
Really? Don't you have a bunch of plushies?
Yes, I never said that I make good decisions. I'm just saying they're actually just useless past a certain point. Like if you get some other stuff like a shirt or like some accessories, at least you can use it.
Mm.
Those those really don't serve any purpose other than take up room in your room.
I guess I'm like looking at my, you know how you have like your your cardboard games. I have my
Uh-huh.
fair share. I'm like, look, I have like a stack of like, oh, K-pop trading cards from this one group that like there's no value in these other than you just have to collect it. But it's the FOMO of
Right.
like, oh, you know, these cards
It's
are
a collecting
nice.
aspect.
Yeah.
So it's like that. I mean, I guess if there's some game around it, you can say it's slightly not as useless because you get some entertainment from them. But hey, if you're happy just staring at it, then it's worth it to you. Just every once in a while, pull it out of your wallet and just sigh, and then put it back in your wallet.
I'm not gonna lie. I have like a photo card of one of my favorite singers where I'll be like, I forget I have it in my wallet, and when I discover, I'm like, oh, this sparks joy. It's like when you find like an extra $5 in your wallet, and you're like, oh, I don't remember this. Nice.
Except it's a cute Asian boy, and you're like, oh.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I don't know. I've been thinking about that lately because I'm like looking at all the merch I have in my place, and like, for example, like I have like an anime calendar, right? But a calendar is useful, right? Because you look at it to know what day of the week it is, and in this case, I get to know what character's birthday is coming up. However, it has a lifespan of only a year, right? So what do you do after that? Like I've definitely had to like
you rip off the calendar part, and now you got posters.
I tried that. I tried so hard to actually keep all of those, and I end up just recycling it because I'm like I don't even think that like, some of the artwork's good, and some of it's I'm like I don't really need you. Not that I don't like them, but you know. So I've started scaling down to those desk-sized calendars where you flip it over a little bit and it's there. The issue with it is like again, it's only got like a lifespan of like one more month before the end of the year before I have to buy new calendars or whatever. So now I'm just like maybe I just don't need that merch in my life anymore.
Maybe calendars aren't so useful because we got phones and computers.
Oddly enough, the merch, and this is where I'm very surprised that I kept up with it this year. Actually, I kept up with it mainly because it was easy for me to visualize like stream schedules. Was like an actual like handwritten planner. Like I usually get the monthly one, so you can look at it at like a month at a glance. But like from Daiso, it's only like $1.50 or $1.75 if you buy it. After 75 cents if you buy it after the new year kind of dealio.
Yeah, after a couple of months are gone, they're like, hey, the current year planners, nobody wants them anymore.
Yeah, but it is actually the most useful merch I've gotten, and it's so cheap. And now I'm like rethinking, like I don't need anime calendars because I already have a calendar that I use. So
but it doesn't have your husbando or waifu on it. So.
Taps my forehead. That's where you get the anime washi tape and the anime stickers. You can put it in there.
DIY weeb planner.
Yep. It's one of the things I recently got from my latest round of K-pop merch is actually a magnetic stand where it's like a small magnetic board and it's like themed after like the concert they had. They have cute magnets that come within like a photo card. I'm like, oh, this is actually very useful. Like I could put reminders on there, whatever, I want. So I don't know. It's one of those things where I'm like, this was quite pricey for what it was, but it's kind of worth it because I can see myself using it more often than like say like a photo card or a trading card set or whatever. But yeah. Didn't mean it.
Some things you just buy just to leave it somewhere and then never interact with again. It seemed like a good idea at the time, but
yes, I think about this with
guilty. I'm also guilty. You buy like some acrylic stands or whatever, and you're like, oh, that was a good idea, but now it's just standing there.
So it's funny you bring this up because I was thinking about this the other day where I'm like, oh, anime merch I wouldn't mind getting is like, I was thinking about this to myself just quietly alone in my thoughts of like, keycaps. They're functional. They're useful. You can just have it on display if you want or, put them up. They don't take up that much space. It's like after now decorating my desk or not my desk, but just my keyboard, it is quite satisfying. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, oh, this sparks a different kind of joy.
The first set is practical and functional. Any subsequent set starts not being functional or practical
until you get multiple keyboards.
Yeah, the end game, just type on multiple keyboards at once for maximum efficiency.
Well, that was
Left hand, right hand.
so I guess this is kind of like a segue into my keyboard update. But last week I did like a little keyboard assembly stream, and I'm very happy with like how my keyboard came back. And it's funny because when I posted on Instagram, just for like, oh, I put this together, a bunch of people messaged me like, oh, where'd you get your keyboard? And I felt like this sense of pride of like, oh, I got it I assembled it from 2 different sets of keycaps and blah blah blah. And like, but the specs behind it aren't, there's nothing fancy about it, right? I'm not here to like, oh, I don't care, I'm not here to like take it apart and dampen the sound or whatever, because I know people are picky about sounds. But there was this moment of pride of like, oh, I can see where like this hobby can be addicting if that's the kind of thing that sparks joy for you, like people like noticing your keycaps or your keyboard. Like, I don't know, like the people who intentionally put it out there, like someone had messaged me about, oh, I love like I didn't even ask about this, but he started to just sending me photos of his different keyboards. Like, oh, here's my keyboard that I use for work. Here's my keyboard when I use for gaming. Here's my keyboard for my downstairs computer where we watch like Netflix and stuff. And I'm like, oh, you gave yourself a purpose for these keyboards. And like, they're not like I would say they're relatively normie, right? They don't really watch anime. They like only like play games, and that's about it. But I can imagine that this becomes like a hobby for many people who are like that intersection, that like, oh, I can find keycaps that are based like off my anime waifus and whatnot.
It's the equivalent of like accessorizing, except instead of clothing or whatever, you're doing it for your electronics. Like the same people that are like, oh, I need to build a computer and all my parts have to match colors and I need this certain aesthetic or color scheme. And then they're like, well, since my computer looks like that, and now all my accessories got to match. So
I know, I feel
if my computer is that color, my key caps have to be this color with the keyboard that's that color, etc., etc.
I feel so cursed knowing after trying out your mouse. It's one of those things where I'm like, every time I look down at my mouse, I'm like, oh, but you could match better. And it's like, oh, this like slippery slope of like, oh, maybe I'll get a new desk in the future.
Warned you.
Oh,
I warned you. You're like, I should just get everything black, because then there's a bunch of different like, black colored things I can match it with. Once you get one thing that's white, it throws everything off, and now you're like, oh I gotta get a bunch of other white things, or light color thing.
You know what's actually started this? Like the desire to go into like having like white bases for my accessories was because I asked for a recommendation on a what was it called, the wrist rest thingy, the thing that wrist pad or whatever, I don't know, the thing that's like you have to elevate your wrist while you're typing on your keyboard. I actually asked for a recommendation from Saber, and he had sent me a link, but that link only had the white one as a listing. I'm like, wait, how come they don't have like a black one? They're like, oh no, it only comes in this color. I'm like,
better buy a white keyboard just to match it,
bro. Like the amount of like, I accidentally always mark it with a pen. Actually, like for some reason I have like pen marks on here. I'm like, it's driving me insane. Part of me is like, what if I just get a new one? And part of me is like, oh, what if I just get like a different color so it doesn't show those stains, right? But now that I have everything that's like, my computer's actually, you've seen it. You've ordered it for me.
I was the one that ordered it. You've seen it, right? Yeah. I haven't seen it in person, but I ordered it.
My computer's white. My keyboard is now white with accent colors. My wrist pad thingy is white, but now the mouse needs to match. And after looking at your mouse, I'm like, oh, that'd be nice. That'd be a nice touch. But I don't know. I'm also like this kind of goes into the podcast theme of like, are you like, does your taste in things change as the seasons change?
Not necessarily. I mean, black and white's pretty safe, right?
Yeah, I guess. Like for me, like the colors I actually have, even though I really love the pink and the mint, it's a very spring color for me. Like I'm just like, I look at it, I'm like, oh, but what if I got something? And this is where the dangerous mindset of, what if I had different keycaps that change throughout the year, right? So I was thinking, oh, what if I get one of those? I was looking at someone posted like this tiramisu themed keycap set, so it was like cream color and browns. I'm like, oh, that's nice for the holidays and, you know, like fall and stuff. So I was thinking real hard about getting it, and now I'm like slapping my wrist. I'm like, no, don't do it. Even for like the overlays I have for our podcast, like I was like, oh, the blue's kind of too bright. We're getting to like the fall and winter, so maybe like purple would be nice. Like, which is why I was playing around with it. So I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
If it's just like, you know, like you said, the overlay or the whatever color changing, that's fine. But when it involves physically getting an extra thing, when you're, you know, when you don't need the extra thing and whatever you have is already functional, that's when it's like, I don't think I care about the color that much.
I guess. I don't know. I'm just thinking about all the stuff that doesn't, like, the reason why a lot of things mismatch in my apartment is because I get hand-me-downs from my parents, right? But the reason why they have a bunch of stuff that mismatches because they buy things when things are on sale at the lowest price, so it's off season, right? So like when I was last home, my dad gave me Texas themed summer pillows. I don't know why. He just gave me a set of like 4 different pillows. I'm like, okay. And he's like, you know, you can put it outside. They could be for outdoors, or you can have it in the house. I'm like, Dad, these are like for the summer and like, you know, for barbecues and stuff. And he's like, no, it's Texas themed. Texas is good all year round.
Texas. It's always summer in Texas.
I know. And so I haven't brought it up from my car yet, but I have to bring up these like Texas red, white, and blue, very like summer
Lone
pillows. Lone Star State pillows.
Lone Star pillows.
So now I'm just like, oh great, I'm gonna have this, and then whenever my roommate moves in, I'm gonna have mismatched things for everyone. I'm just like, oh gosh. And
Yeah, gotta pay a premium for things to be aesthetic and matching.
yeah, that's
You
oof.
can't be going for the cheapest thing and expect it all to match.
That's where you're balling on a budget, my friend. Like,
But you're not even balling. You're just on a budget.
what do you mean? If those songs, they look nice, right? They as long as they're functional, they look nice.
I thought the whole thing was that they don't look nice and it's mismatching. So you're not just balling, you're just on a budget.
No, I want to be the balling.
Okay. So you want to be balling on a budget. Okay.
Yes. Like I think about it, right? Like whenever people get like stuff from Daiso, I'm like, oh, that's cute, and they have everything is from Daiso, but it looks cohesive, right? But it's obviously
Daiso is very like muted. Everything is just either black or white or gray or something,
or you know, have a very specific like cutesy aesthetic. Like, it just all goes together.
Yeah,
but it's on a budget. It's the same with IKEA. Like IKEA ceramics aren't the greatest, but if you just wanted a set of things that just match, like those fancy flat plates with like a slight ridge on them that fancy restaurant use. But when you go to a fancy restaurant, you're like, I've seen this at IKEA. Like, who are you trying to fool?
The amount of things you see at a restaurant that's from IKEA, you really start to notice it the more you go to IKEA. You're like, wow, all these light fixtures and like all these chairs are like, so many Asian restaurants you go in, the first thing you notice is like that light. These lights on the ceiling are from IKEA.
I know. There's like this really cute Japanese cafe that I used to go to in Houston that has a lot of like IKEA stuff. So whenever I go, I'm like, that was on sale not too long ago. It was a very good deal. Good on you. Like, I love IKEA though. It's so fun to just go and walk around and window shop in your mind's eye of like, oh, this is nice. This is nice.
If I were to, you know, redecorate my house or room, this is what I would buy. And then you just kind of fantasize about this will look good, and then you go back home and you just have anime merch littered throughout your floor.
Oh, don't call me out like that. I think the issue is, so like my apartment space is fairly small, so it's like a 1-bedroom apartment. I have some space that I can use for like display and decoration, but it's never enough. I have a bunch of things that are still in boxes because it's easier just to keep the figures in the boxes for the time being rather than like take it out, unpack it. And then I realized like, oh, when I get this roommate, are they gonna have anime merch, or do they want to start collecting anime merch? And I was thinking about, I'm like, oh man, we're gonna be one of those people that each person gets a Deltoff IKEA display shelf.
One? You can hardly fit anything in one.
I know. Well, I'm like looking over to my display, and it's like, oh, it barely is filled out. So we'll see. I'm kind of like, oh god, what do
Fills
I
up
do?
fast.
Yeah, I wish there's a way to add more shelves in between, like for smaller figures and things like that.
Well, you can get those risers, like little like
Oh,
stands.
that's true. They also have them at Daiso too. Future me's problem. Future me's problem. I'm also weird about like when anime figures. This is where I'm like, I actually need to stop buying anime figures because they collect dust. Even though they're in the display case, there's still dust that can seep in, and I have to like think about like, oh, plastic eventually gets that weird filmy shit feeling on it, so you have to like wipe it down or like make sure it's like taken care of so it doesn't deteriorate. Ugh. Anime was a mistake.
I still haven't taken mine out of the box after moving because there was so much trouble getting them into the box to move.
Right?
I haven't bothered taking them out, so they're just all in boxes. So I put the box in the display case. So now the display case just has a bunch of boxes inside.
Dude, I feel this though. Like there's a good amount of anime merch I actually have in boxes because I always tell myself, well, I get laid off, I just have to move anyway. So be easier in the long run.
When I get laid off, not if. When I get laid off, I'm just gonna.
I have survived so many layoffs at work. It's become like anytime there was like a meeting that has a lot of people on it, I always have to go through the list of people, like who's not included on this list. So the actual topic, we talked about this a little bit before the recording, but now that the fall season is here, what is your favorite seasonal thing to eat? And I remember it's like, it's just a few minutes ago, but it's so funny that you're just like, yeah, I don't have seasonal things I want to eat.
I don't know. It's definitely not pumpkin though. I'll tell you that. Not PSL anything.
Dude,
is no bueno.
I love pumpkin. I am that person where it's like people can't shame me for being basic. So I'm like, if something sparks joy, then why am I stopping myself from enjoying it just because you think it's basic? How about you off?
It's not that it's basic. I just don't. It's one of those things. It's like how also I like pumpkin as pumpkin. I don't like pumpkin as anything else. It's the same as like green tea or like matcha. Like I love green tea, but I don't like green tea flavored stuff. So it's like that. Like I have nothing against pumpkin itself, or like sometimes it's like banana. It's like if it's like a banana or like a milkshake, it's fine. But if it's like banana flavored something, it's weird.
I get those for like those because it can taste artificial, right? Where it's obviously ultra like processed, has a bunch of sugar in it. So so I'm kind of on the same boat in that regard. The difference between a lot of pumpkin spice flavor things is that usually it's in a lot of my weakness is like baked goods. So things like pumpkin bread or pumpkin cake or pumpkin cheesecake, and I'm like, yeah, that shit sounds good. Because I'm not gonna go out of my way to like carve up, cut up a pumpkin and do it myself. So whenever stores have it, I'm like, I'll try it. Why not? And actually, the pumpkin spice I've been like. I've been nursing this pumpkin spice since the morning. It's like it got to the point where it got cold. I'm like, what if I just made this like cold pumpkin spice latte? It's like from a local coffee shop of mine that has like pumpkin puree, so it's not just a syrup or anything that's added in like other places. So I was like, okay, this is a little bit more real, I guess. But like actually at the start of the pumpkin spice season, a coworker I was carpooling with, he texted me. He's like, hey, it's pumpkin spice season. I'm like, oh, and he's like, I'm getting you a pumpkin spice latte as a thank you for giving you a ride to work. And I'm like, oh, okay. And it had been years since I actually last had a pumpkin spice latte because I don't go to Starbucks unless it's convenient, right? So like when I was in college, I used to go to Starbucks quite often because I had like my campus like I don't know, dining budget was covered in it or whatever. So I had a bunch of like excuses to go to Starbucks. but it's been years since I was last in college and since I last had a pumpkin spice latte. So when he gave it to me and I took a sip, it felt like, oh no, like Pandora's box has opened yet again. And now I'm just craving pumpkin spice things because I don't really. Again, it's a seasonal.
What
thing.
have you done?
I know.
What have you done?
It's cursed, and I didn't realize. I thought pumpkin spice lattes were like a fall winter thing. I didn't realize, oh, it goes away in fall and then winter other shit comes out. And I'm like, oh, but don't you have pumpkin pie still at like holiday parties and stuff? I don't know. That's what I thought. So, yeah.
I haven't been to Starbucks was more of like a college thing because there was one on campus.
Mm-hmm.
And then after you graduate, it's like, well, I don't even drink coffee. I'm not driving out of my way to go to Starbucks.
No, it's either you don't drink or you drop coffee, or you become a connoisseur in drinking real coffee. So you go to those mom and pop like coffee shops or like those
Starbucks, who drinks that garbage?
Yeah.
Throws my hipster scarf behind my neck.
Hipster. Oh.
Yeah. Lug my typewriter over to my local mom and pop coffee shop.
Typewriter? You mean your pseudo typewriter mechanical wireless keyboard?
No, the typewriters that you have to like type a line and then push it back. The real one.
Oh my gosh. Oh, it's like I feel like there's a lot of other seasonal things. Like right now, some stores offer Thanksgiving themed like flavors. So like there's like a turkey dinner flavored or turkey flavored potato chips or some shit like that, and you're just like, huh? Weird, but I'll try it. At least I am. I'm very much so am that person. Oh, it's like, what is it? Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's is one of those places that like a lot of people, at least young adults, I'm gonna look it up. Trader Joe's.
So now that you mention I'm trying to find the picture for it. Oh, here it is. Now that you mentioned Thanksgiving dinners, it reminded me of that holiday turkey dinner for one picture.
Wait, what?
It's so sad.
Oh my god.
It's like such a depressing picture. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just a really depressing picture.
Oh, this reminds me of what was it? Didn't Wawa have turkey bowl? The Wawa turkey bowls.
Probably. I don't know.
I gotcha.
I remember that picture was from so long ago, and it was such a depressing picture.
Bro, Wawa turkey bowls were like, they were like,
actually looks pretty good.
I'm not gonna lie, it is pretty good. But it's like
pretty good.
It is like the quintessential. You don't have anyone to spend Thanksgiving with, so you go to Wawa and pick up a bowl and go back home, watch the parade or whatever shit's going on TV on Thanksgiving Day, and you heat it up if it's not already heated up, and you eat it. And it's a different kind of enjoyment. It's for me, I have such fond memories of this turkey bowl from college because it's so sad. I remember like my mom had called me. She's like, "What are you eating for Thanksgiving?" I'm like, "This Wawa turkey bowl." She's like, "Oh, what?" She's like, "You don't have any friends?" I'm like, "Oh, wait, home."
You don't have any friends? Wow, Mom. Thanks.
Well, like, that's the thing, right? Like some people get invited to like their friends, college friends, relatives or whatever. I'll be honest, most of my friends back then I wouldn't necessarily want to spend Thanksgiving with. I don't know. I feel like holiday activities are such a strange thing to invite people who don't know your family well enough, right?
Yeah, especially when you have like extended family over, and now it's just really awkward for everyone involved.
Like, what if there's someone racist or like I don't know. The reason why I bring up the whole racism thing is I definitely had my fair share of people I knew in college. I'm like, oh, you went to like a predominantly white school, or like in most cases like a Catholic school. I'm like, oh, I am your token Asian friend, and that's okay.
See, I don't have that problem since I'm not racist.
It's not, I don't think you're racist. I'm saying other people are. Okay, this is off topic. This is going But yeah, seasonal holiday things. I just pulled up the Trader Joe's. What was it? Deck the halls with sweets and sundries, and they have like a whole bunch of different like holiday themed things. Like, what's a jingle jangle? What the hell's that?
Jingle jangle?
What's a jingle jangle? But yeah, they got like, peppermint chocolate covered pretzels. They have bunch of like just holiday things like fruitcake, cranberry biscottis, gingerbread. Oh, gingerbread things are gonna come in. Oh, I'm so excited for the holidays.
I'm not a big fan of gingerbread things either.
Do you like ginger flavored things though?
The Asian ones a little bit, not like the gingerbread. Like I'll still eat it, but I wouldn't go out of my way to get it.
I'm trying to see what this jingle jangle thing is.
Jingle jangle.
What the hell is a jingle? Trader Joe's jingle jangle. Oh, that's BS. It's a mixed holiday treat, a fun mix of fan favorite candy treats.
I looked up Jingle Jangle and I just found the movie.
There's a movie? Oh, interesting.
Apparently.
Interesting.
Alright, I typed in. Oh, it's just like fancy trail mix, but okay.
But candy.
But, yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's got the peanut butter cups, chocolate covered pretzels, cookies.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know what I was expecting.
I was thinking something more fun, like more exciting than like, hey.
Yeah, more bright. Brighter.
Oh, not even that, but just like, hey, this is special shit that we only have this year round, but it's taking stuff that does well for them, I guess, all year and putting it into a tin. That's cheating, in my opinion. In my onion, it's cheating.
Yeah.
Oh, maple flavor thing. That's another like seasonal thing. I feel it's very popular.
Oh, there's a Springle Jangle too.
What?
There's a Springle Jangle. I guess they have that for the spring. Oh, I almost sent that to the wrong person. Springle Jangle.
Oh,
Jangle,
you're right. It's like Easter
jangle.
theme. Damn you. Their marketing's pretty good. I'm not going to lie. Like, the jingle jangle lives in my head rent free now.
I mean, if they make a Christmas one, probably, what would you call it?
It had to be jingle jangle, right?
I guess.
I think so.
That's a jingle jangle? Oh, okay. I guess.
Jingle bells. Yo, I'm like looking through all their stuff. They have so much stuff for the holidays.
Wait, it's $8.99 for the jingle jangle?
Right. I don't know. Maybe people like this stuff, but they have what was it called? Like turkey stuffing flavored chips. And I'm like, oh, interesting. I am a sucker for that, so I probably will try it. At least my Aldi's version.
Every time you go to a supermarket, you see some new weird flavor of Lay's. You're like, it sounds kind of gross, but I'll try it anyway because I'm curious what it tastes like.
I am a big fan of
the chicken and waffle Lay's.
No, they taste like. Have you ever tried the honey butter chips?
Yes.
That's what they remind me of. Like,
I just didn't like how it's
buttery flavor.
Yeah, I didn't like how because already kind of like the Lay's are kind of soggy, and then it just gets kind of moist.
It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite experience, but Aldi's, where are you at? I think it's like their signature stuff.
Aldi's.
I have such a love for their like specialty stuff, like specially selected, ready to roast sweet potato blend. I'm like, ooh, pumpkin pie mix. Oh, they have goat cheese. Yeah, they just have so much stuff that I'm like, oh, make it a Aldi What the kind of marketing thing is this? Can you read?
Aldi.
What? Am I crazy? How do you pronounce this word? Hold on. Like
Aldi? Aldi?
That makes no sense though.
Aldi holiday? Make it an all Aldi holiday.
Oh, I guess that makes sense. Aldi.
Yeah, all Aldi holiday.
But same, I don't know, seasonal shit just gets me. I'm just like, oh, I'm a sucker for it. They have.
It's the holidays. Gotta treat yourself.
That's true. That's true. Soon the Costco will have their giant hams on sale, and my mom will go snag a bunch for when it's on sale for like $5 off, even though it's like $5 off the poundage that's on there, even though it's like a 20-pound thing. I'm like, whoa. That's still like a $30 ham, Mom. I wonder if I know Costco doesn't have Black Friday, but I know they do like special things leading up to the holidays in terms of seasonal, like especially gifts and stuff.
Yeah, they probably have like the Christmas stuff and the. I'm not sure if they have Thanksgiving stuff, but they definitely rotate some holiday stuff in there.
Oh, it's the weighted blanket. That's what I'm thinking about. Every year, this is like year 3 now of wanting a weighted blanket, and I always like waffle back and forth about, oh, it's not really worth it. One year I actually bought it as a work white Santa gift because it's like, oh, it was heavy, right? And it's like, oh, after X amount was only like $20 or something. I forgot. So it was on sale for some crazy amount, and I was like, oh, $20 gift limit, no problem. This thing is worth it, value, right? And now I'm just like, man, I regret not getting one myself like 2 years ago. And now I'm like, oh, now it's getting colder. Blankets seemed quite good of a deal to get.
I bought one a while back, and I used it for a bit, just like try it out. It was cool, but then I was just like, okay, now that I tried it out, I didn't really like it, so I returned it.
Yeah, that's during the Great Texas Winter Storm of February 2021. The amount of blankets I piled up on top might as well have been like, it's like the equivalent of like one weighted blanket, but it was so comforting to be like, you're safe, my sweet child.
You're safe, my sweet child.
In this winter storm, you're warm. You're under the weight of all these blankets. You're good. So now I'm like, maybe.
I mean, people say that's really good for people with anxiety.
Yeah.
So you feel like you're getting hugged, or you feel like you're more secure because you're being weighed down.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
No, I read up on it. That's actually like a thing. That's one of like the selling points.
I guess. I don't know. I think about like I feel like in my mind it can kind of go either way. Like it could feel like you're being suffocated, or it feels like you're getting a hug.
Well, that's why they have different like weights depending on how much you weigh. You're not supposed to buy one that's like too heavy for you. You're like 5 feet tall, like 80 pounds, and you buy one that's like a 30-40 pound blanket, and you're like, I can't move.
But like, that's the thing, right? You don't know what your comfort level is until you buy it. And what if it's not the right, or if it's too much? You're like, oh no.
Well, then just buy it from like Amazon or something and return it. And get another one.
Not the Capazon. Not the Capazon. Anyways, yeah, I know we like we talked about we would review Black Friday deals, but I'll be honest, I have not found any good Black Friday deals, at least when I was searching for my Switch, Nintendo Switch deal.
Speaking of that, there actually is a Nintendo Switch deal.
What?
So
what deal?
It's I think Nintendo posted it themselves a couple days ago or something.
Nintendo.
You get the normal, the red and blue Switch, with a digital copy of Mario Kart and like 3 months online.
Oh, I did see that. I did see that.
Yeah, for the same like $300. So you kind of get
a bundle. Yeah.
You kind of get the 3 months of the Mario Kart for free, kind of. Depends if you actually wanted to get Mario Kart. I guess if you didn't, then it's worthless to you.
Yeah, it's.
And
though that deal is active, I think just trying to find a Nintendo Switch these days is a pain. Like,
oh, I haven't actually tried to look, so I can't tell you if that was easy or hard, but that's just what I saw. But if you want the Animal Crossing one, then that's irrelevant.
Yeah, it's already too late. It's already in my possession. As a quick update. A lot of people know I've been on the hunt for a Switch, but like I am shallow and want things to be cute. So
Aesthetique.
I opted to trade in my Nintendo Switch Lite. I was thinking about, because I was like, oh, but it's so cute. It's such a cute coral color. And I realized, like, bitch, you don't even use this thing because you have issues with the screen and like the weird like function of like not being able to play a game on a bigger screen. And so I decided to sorry. So I decided to trade that in and get X amount of credit from a certain game stop store that kind of fudged up my thing and then got me a better deal in the end. I'm like, okay, squints my eyes. And that same day turned around and went to Target and picked up my Nintendo Switch. It was very satisfying to get that, and it's been in a box. It's been in a bag, actually, the same Target bag I got it in, and it's just been chilling here because I am too lazy to set up. I told myself I can't set up until I clean my apartment, which is this weekend. That is my goal. So hopefully it'll be set up. But yes, that was the one thing I actually really wanted for Black Friday. But then now that that situation has settled, now I'm thinking about the other things we talked about technology upgrade wise. A new microphone, a stream deck. Even though I don't, the more I think about it, the more I don't need a stream deck. I want a new mouse more than anything. But yeah, the realm of possibilities for Black Friday has now opened up. But I was looking up things for gifts, especially for like, I like to use Black Friday as the opportunity to like buy gifts for people, especially at my
Get
company.
a head start on the holiday shopping. Like Christmas shopping.
I was thinking about getting someone an air fryer, and I didn't realize how expensive air fryers were. And I'm like, wait, are they? I thought they would be like $20-$40. They're like in the $60 to $70 to almost $100 range. I'm like, damn.
I'm pretty sure you can find one for cheaper. Granted, it might be, a more basic one, but I don't think you think. Are you looking at like the super fancy ones?
No, I just felt like everything's really expensive for what it is. Okay, let me check. Yeah, like even for Walmart, like some of their Black Friday deals, even for an air fryer, is still like in the like $70 range. I'm like, wow, are air fryers? I mean, granted, it actually is like a life improvement kind of thing, right? At least for me, as someone who likes to eat out a lot, air fryers are okay. Well, it's a Black & Decker one, but they do have some. It's like the replacement for toaster ovens now, so it's become the new norm.
The new hotness.
Are you planning on doing any Black Friday? I know you recently bought something for yourself. I forgot what it is. Oh, you traded in something for a tablet, right?
Yeah, it's still unopened. I'm not gonna open it till they process my trade in, just in case something wonky happens and I can return it.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm not looking for anything in particular. I guess I still haven't really looked at any of the ads yet. I still have time. I have like another week.
Isn't that crazy? It's almost Thanksgiving. It's almost Black Friday. Oh gosh.
Yeah, not really looking for anything in particular. Just whatever comes up and seems interesting.
Yeah.
And whatever happens to align with my retail therapy needs.
Like actually, I was talking to like some IRL friends of mine. We're like, we don't need to do gifts this year, right? Because we I don't know. It's become one of those things where I'm like, I think gifts are nice, but I don't really want to go through the trouble nor have someone go through the trouble of getting me something either anymore these days. I don't know. It's one of those things where if I want it, I'll just get it myself, right?
I'm an adult.
Yeah, but at the same time, there's certain things where, like, for example, my mom still expects like some sort of gift or showmanship of appreciation, and so my brother and I usually opt to like cook like Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas dinner or whatever. So I don't know. It's been one of those things lately where I'm like, oh, maybe I don't really need anything, and then yeah, I think I still want to do something for the holidays. I haven't quite figured out, like, last year what I gave out, like, candy to friends. Wait, did you get one of those candies? I'm pretty sure you did.
The Genshin ones?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so something like cute like that. Something that's like, oh, here's my.
That would have been awkward if I said no, huh?
I'll be honest. I honestly don't remember who. Like, I remember I did 2 rounds of gifts, and
Well,
like
you sent it to all the Genshin players, so of course I'd be included.
Yes, you have a Klee on your account.
It's not even my account, but yep, there was a Klee.
I remember the one day you played Genshin with Klee.
I had a Klee, I had a Chi-Chi, and I rolled and I got a Mona, and I was like, oh, game's lit, bet. Logs out.
But yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things I have to start thinking about now that a certain Moist Ponko is leaving a certain craft part-time job. I must use his discount before it's out. So I'm like scrambling. I'll probably go tomorrow actually to go look for things.
Hookup.
I know. I'm gonna really miss this hookup. It's a nice perk. I only used it once. What a shame.
Time to hit up some other employees in the store, befriend some Mary Anns and some.
Funny.
I'm trying to think of some other like names like that.
Oh man, but yeah, I think that's something I have to think about. And for those of you who also have to do shopping for the holidays, what are you looking forward to buying? And if there's anyone out there that's listening that wants to sponsor us, hashtag honey, like hit us up. Oh, that'd be pretty pog.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty pog.
Use my code. Use my code POGCat to receive 50% off your second tub of G Fuel.
We got G Fuel sponsored. Oh my god. Oh, maybe I'll make that a gift for people. Give them a tub of G Fuel. Actually, not a tub. That's expensive.
You can get them like a can of G Fuel. G Fuel comes in cans. The cans. Well, I haven't had the tubs. Well, I hardly ever get any G Fuel at all because I'm not a gamer. But
Are
the
you
can
sure?
ones are carbonated. Yeah, I'm not a gamer. I'm just an old man.
An old cat.
I'm just an old cat.
Oh,
yeah. Because when you mix it with the powder, it's not carbonated. Well, it's not easily carbonated.
Are you the type of person that likes carbonated drinks? Like sparkling water and whatnot?
Depends on the drink. Depends if it should be carbonated.
Well, like, I noticed that my older relatives / parents really like things carbonated because it's better for their digestive system or something. It's like, oh, things like sparkling water or like carbonated water. They're like, oh, it'll settle our stomachs better or some shit like that. I don't know. That was
Depends on the thing. If it should be carbonated, then if it doesn't taste weird carbonated, then I guess I would prefer it carbonated. Like if you get cow piss, and there's like the carbonated one and the uncarbonated one. I like the carbonated one.
Yeah, that makes sense. And yes, that's all I got to talk about this week, Kat.
Yeah, that's all. We'll share our spoils. Well, part of our spoils next time.
Yep. And to those that's listening, thank you always for giving our podcast a listen. Hope you enjoy some of the different the different tweaks we've made since we started with episode 1. And yeah, we'll catch you guys next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.